Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel where chrome is currency and fins are fashion. Today we're diving into the deep end of automotive oddity. An American car with a European accent, a fiberglass beak, and a name that sounds like it should come with talons. That's right, we're talking about the one-year wonder, the final flight of a fading legend, the 1958 Packard Hawk. A car so rare even Timmy thought it was a mythical bird, and of course, this wild ride through steel and styling wouldn't be possible without our beloved channel sponsors. You fine folks who keep this engine running smoother than Bob's conspiracy blog on dial-up. To the premium supporters, thanks for making sure Timmy doesn't sell his fishing boat. Now then, grab your monocles and martinis, because the Packard Hawk wasn't just another car. It was a Hail Mary from a dying brand, wearing gold Mylar fins and the haunted soul of a luxury automaker that once sold cars to presidents and tycoons. Born in 1958, the Hawk was the swan song for Packard, a badge once synonymous with prestige, now awkwardly glued onto a Studebaker chassis. That's right, by 1958, the Detroit Packard plant had been leased out, and Studebaker Packard was doing its best impression of Weekend at Bernie's, parading around the Packard name like it wasn't already halfway buried. Enter Roy Hurley, a consultant for Curtiss-Wright who, in a bout of either genius or pure vanity, decided the world needed a flashy two-door coupe with Packard badges and Euro-flavored flair. He greenlit a project that began with the bones of the Studebaker Golden Hawk and gave it a new snout, a new badge, and enough gold trim to make Liberace blush. Designer Duncan McRae, riffing off a concept by Dick Teague, gave the Hawk a long, low nose, a continental trunk bulge, and fins that looked like Elvis's hair in profile. Critics called it a catfish. Fans called it unforgettable. Only 588 of these unique beasts were built for the domestic market. That's it. One model year. No do-overs. Today, it's a rare sight. Rarer than Bob admitting he was wrong about AI microwaves hacking his credit card. Surviving examples mostly live in museums or behind thick cotton covers in the garages of collectors who whisper "last Packard ever" like it's a sacred mantra. Under the nose, made of fiberglass by the way, because Packard needed something light enough to sit up Studebaker bones, was a beast of an engine. Studebaker's supercharged 289 cubic inch V8, breathing through a McCulloch centrifugal blower and producing a hearty 225 horsepower at 4,800 revolutions per minute. That made it the fastest Packard ever built. Yes, you heard right. This fish-faced Grand Tourer could reach up to 125 miles per hour. If you had the nerve and good dental insurance. Most Hawks came with the Borg-Warner Flight-O-Matic 3-speed automatic transmission, mounted on the column with all the grace of a 1950s spaceship throttle. A few, just 26 or so, came with the T85 3-speed manual and overdrive, perfect for drivers who wanted to feel like they were piloting a bomber across Kansas. Power brakes were standard, while power steering was optional with power windows, power seats, and twin traction limited slip on the options roster. Suspension was straight from the Studebaker shelf. Independent front with unequal length A-arms, coil springs, and a stabilizer bar. In back, a live axle on leaf springs. Braking was handled by power-assisted hydraulic drums at all four corners, which might sound terrifying today, but in 1958, that was considered advanced tech. Rolling stock consisted of steel 14 by 5 inches, Kelsey Hayes wheels, typically wearing wide white walls and full hubcaps. Some owners later swapped in wire wheels, because let's face it, nothing says personal luxury like spokes that sparkle. As for the dimensions, this was no compact sports car. The wheelbase stretched 120.5 inches, that's 3,060 millimeters, with a total length of 205.2 inches, 5,213 millimeters. Width stood at 71.3 inches, 1,811 millimeters, and the height came in just under 55 inches, about 1,390 millimeters. Curb weight was around 3,470 pounds, or roughly 5 kilograms, light for a Packard, heavy for anything pretending to be sporty. Fuel economy? Don't ask. Let's just say you'd get about 13 miles per gallon if the wind was at your back and you bribed the laws of physics. But who cares? You didn't buy a Packard Hawk to save gas. You bought it to be seen. So what made it different from its Studebaker sibling, the Golden Hawk? Well, Aside from the fiberglass nose and the faux Continental kit on the trunk, the Packard version had a unique dashboard with padded leather, exclusive trim, and a badge that tried very hard to remind people this wasn't just a Studebaker with eyeliner. The cabin was pure jet-age drama. Two-tone leather, instrument clusters with boost and vacuum gauges, and optional luxuries that would make your neighbor's Thunderbird blush. Now let's talk design, because the 1958 Packard Hawk didn't just walk into a car show, it arrived like a peacock on payday. Its low-slung profile, Continental-style trunk bump, and that snubbed fiberglass nose turned heads for better or worse. And those gold Mylar inserts on the fins? Pure drama. Design credit technically goes to Duncan McRae, although the original idea was penned by Dick Teague. Yes, the same Teague who later helped design icons like the AMC Javelin and the Gremlin. We won't hold that last one against him. The interior was no afterthought either. Full leather seats, padded dash, color-matched trim, and enough chrome to distract airline pilots. Packard wanted you to feel like you were inside a Bentley that had done a stint in Vegas. Now, how did it stack up in the market? Well, let's say this. 1958 was not a great year to launch a boutique luxury coupe with a polarizing design and a big appetite for premium gas. America was dipping into a recession, and flashy wasn't always fashionable. Studebaker's Golden Hawk was cheaper and just as fast, while the Corvette was becoming America's sweetheart. And don't forget Ford's Thunderbird, which was devouring the personal luxury market like Bob devours doomsday rations when the moon looks funny. So Packard Hawk buyers were a very specific breed. They weren't looking for mass appeal. They wanted a one-year-only exotic with the soul of a Packard and the guts of a muscle car. The result? Just 588 units sold, plus a few for export. That's collector car catnip today, but in 1958 it was closer to a swan dive off the sales cliff. Despite that, the Hawk remains beloved by die-hard fans. It was, after all, the last completely new Packard model. Everything after was just badge swapping. And while its looks were mocked at the time, modern collectors now see those ugly duckling traits as the car's biggest charm. You're not likely to find two at the same car show. And speaking of rare, let's talk prices. Back in 1958, a brand new Packard Hawk would have set you back $3,995. That was $700, more than the Studebaker Golden Hawk. Adjusted for inflation, you're looking at about $40,000 to $45,000 in today's money. Not cheap, but certainly not outlandish for what was advertised as the most exclusive car in America. Fast forward to today's collector market, and things get spicy. At auction, a restored Hawk has sold for as little as $35,000 and as much as $88,000. The latter figure came from R.M. Sotheby's sale. Another prime example pulled $74,250 at R.M. Automobiles of Arizona 2008. Most well-sorted Hawks today fall in the $50,000 to $70,000 range, which frankly is a bargain for the last true Packard and a guaranteed conversation piece at every gas station and cars and coffee event. And if you ever find one for sale, buy it. Or at least sit in it. Touch the leather. Feel the supercharged hum under your feet. And when someone asks, what kind of car is that? Just smile and say, the last Packard. Thanks for riding along with us. If you enjoyed the tale of the golden-finned underdog, make sure to hit that subscribe button like it owes you money. And remember, if Timmy offers to sell you a Packard jet boat, check if it floats before you hand over the cash.